Hello and welcome to the Thursday show. This is your weekly 40K competitive hype show where we discuss the meta of the events and get you as excited as we are about competitive 40K. My name is Dustin Henshaw, and with Paul away in Seattle preparing to give you a great show this weekend, it'll be just myself and the infamous Adam Camilleri.
Infamous is right, Dustin. My
That's
absolute
right.
pleasure to be here. We've got three awesome events for you, of course. The Seattle US Open, G-Dub's first event of 2022. Then we've got two UK events, one being the Glasshammer GT number 8, and then the Brighton Warhammer 40K tournament. So two from the UK, one from the US. Should be a great show. What are you pumped for in this one?
I'm looking forward to seeing what's going on in Seattle, to be honest. There's a couple big names there that I want to keep an eye on, and I want to see how the Tyranids, because the Tyranids kind of fell a little short the last weekend.
They did.
I feel like people are still kind of finding their sea legs with them a little bit, or their hive fleet legs. Their fleet legs, because the sea legs, because fleet. I was playing on words there. I don't know if you caught that, but I was pretty clever. I just want to make sure I point that out for everybody.
Well, so what we saw from the previous weekend is that we saw a big transition of people playing various Harlequin builds into playing, like, predominantly shifting to Ashirani primary builds in the Eldari super faction. And what that did is, I believe, counteracted a lot of what Tyranids are coalescing into at the moment. Things like, we're talking like Hail of Doom here, guys. Hail of Doom North cover
Yes.
has got a lot of legs into Tyranids, and probably the best version into them. And so we're seeing a big pivot into that, and now the floodgates are open. We'll see if that carries the day over in Seattle, or if the Tyranids can get their first big scalp of the season. We've got to tell you a little bit about Frontline Gaming and what they've got going on at the moment. First and foremost, I want to congratulate ACO Limo raffle winner Thomas Avanza, who will be getting a ride to and from the venue in a swanky Harris limo. Next week, we are choosing the winner of the free stay at ACO. Find the raffle entry form on the Frontline Gaming community group page on Facebook. Jump over and get involved. In addition, Frontline Gaming has released new sets of their popular full color terrain series and the full event terrain set. So you can buy the terrain that you will see and you're playing on FLG events fully painted for you over on the FLG web store. Jump over and please support them. They are a major sponsor. We are on their network, and we are happy to take it away. Hand pass over to Dustin. Let's go into the very first of the events.
Let's do this. So it's the U.S. Open Seattle from Seattle, Washington. I think that's probably a no-brainer at this point, right? It might be in London, though. But either way, it is 188 players, 8-rounder, big tournament. But unfortunately, the big tournament come big shame lists. 50-80 you hosers. That's a Canadian term, by the way. Have not listed your faction. Adam is sad. We need an Adam sad face.
So caveat here, the G-Dub lists are not due to be submitted until Friday, and they will not be live until Friday. So the fact that's okay. We know that ahead of time. It's an unfortunate reality that when we cover G-Dub events, it's likely we won't get the full picture, but we're going to get as close as we can. So we have 130 of the 188 players having their lists having listed, and we have them for you now. I mean, still shaking the back of the hand because 130 of you managed to do it. So
yeah, 130 people did it. So what's the other 50?
Why not everybody?
Come on.
Yeah.
Where's
the shame bell? All right, take it away, mate.
It's lazy. All right. So the quick and dirty stats here: the Imperial super faction. There is 1 Imperium, 4 Sisters, 8 Custodes, 1 Admech, 4 Astra Militarum, 9 Grey Knights, 2 Imperial Knights here. The Space Marine super faction, there's 1 Astartes, 7 Dark Angels, 3 Space Wolves, 3 Blood Angels, 3 Ultramarines, 3 Black Templar, 1 Imperial Fist, and a Death Watch.
Good spread.
Chaos super faction, yeah, that's a very good spread. The Chaos super faction, there's 5 Chaos Soup, 2 Chaos Space Marines, 8 T-Suns, no real surprise there, 4 Death Guard, 2 Demons, and 3 Renegade Knights. The Xeno super faction, 6 Necrons, 5 Orcs, and 14 Tau.
Ew.
Now, we will caveat this with 58 people not listed. I feel like there's going to be more Tau and Tyranids than are listed here because the Hive Mind's perfection, there's 10 Tyranids, which I feel is a little short for 188 players.
I know for a fact there's 2 people who are playing Tyranids who haven't listed their faction.
There you go.
Just that I know of. There's 12
at least 12 then, at least. And then 3 GSC. And the Eldari super faction, there are 4 Eldari, 6 Yukari, 2 Harlequins, and 7 Asuriani.
Interesting split there. The Eldar super faction, I feel like, is the one that we want to pay attention to the most when we extrapolate this, because it's the one in flux. Usually we would see in a couple of weeks ago, we'd see 3 or 4, 5 or 6 more Harlequins, and now those numbers have been distributed through to the other. Because, I mean, you love elves. So many people love elves, and when you find someone who plays elves, they play all the elves.
Yes, for sure. That's it's not surprising at all. To be honest, too, you were talking about the the Halo Doom that a lot of them are kind of pivoting to with the meta it
Mm,
is right now. So Suriani going pure Suriani, getting those Strands of Fate is it seems a lot more the way to go in the current meta. I don't know if
yeah.
the mixing is as it's still fine, but I feel like going pure Suriani is actually just a little bit better right now, at
I
least
th-
where it
I
is standing.
I tend to think so too. I don't mind I don't mind a patrol of Harlequins coming alongside a
Yeah.
ride, because you still get all the real benefits essentially. But there needs to be a very specific thing now. Are you going to take light and a couple of void weavers? Are you going to take dark and a couple of boat bombs?
Mhm.
What's really going to be your flavor there? So what was the faction podium, brother?
The Foction podium, the Foction padium is the Foction padium is 14 Tau at the top, Tyranids at 10, 12, probably
Well,
more,
yeah.
and 9 Grey Knights. So that's the one you wanted to talk about there. You had thoughts
I
on this, Adam.
do. I do. I have very strong thoughts about Grey Knights in the current meta because I think they are of all the armor of contempt buffed armies. I think it's the two forerunners that got the biggest lift out of this optically were Sisters and T-Sons. People thought Sisters and
Mhm.
T-Sons were going to be the two things that are going to get the biggest lift out of this, and that was under the assumption that I think Grey Knights were going to struggle into Eldar, into Tyranids because they're going to be able to combat them as the psychic powerhouses that they can still be. Um, but the shift in army style from what already was happening with the decline of Dread Knights, and the fact that Dread Knights from range like just don't do any damage anymore. Their range profiles are not good. Pivoting into Ultra MSU Grey Knights with maybe one super hard to deal with Grandmaster plus G-Dub terrain where you get to hide all your stuff in tighter shadows or just not be in tighter shadows because they can't see you feels really powerful, man. And especially you got 14 Tau coming. I love Grey Knights into Tau on G-Dub tables. I think that is beautiful.
Yeah, it's actually huge right now. The Grey Knights, they can go back to one of their standard builds of only one like grandmaster. They don't need
Mm,
the extra dread knights anymore because the interceptors and strikes paladins even they uh
exactly.
they are
Yeah,
devastating right now, especially on G-dub tables. Like you were saying, like, it's really strong with the kind of terrain they're going to have and the kind of lists they're going to be fighting against. Having just that armor of contempt and then being in Tide of Shadows, most likely going to be -1 to hit because you're going to be standing in terrain. Like
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
really strong.
It's exceptionally hard to deal with to dig out. I mean, what do you send out there to go and get him? Like, what digs 10 paladins out of cover behind a wall? Like,
Oh, there's not even anything in close combat that you can reliably send in there. It's like,
mm,
hey, this is going to deal with it. You can't.
you can't do
It's
it.
just
Yeah.
you can't do it. It's just it's a matter of what can I throw at them to dent them a little bit this turn, and then dent them a little bit next turn,
Mhm.
and hopefully kill them. Turn 4, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Either
Or do
that,
you just ignore them? Do you just
if you
ignore
haven't
them?
started, yeah, if you haven't started working on them by like turn 3, stop,
Oh, you
ignore
just
them. It's
don't
too
bother.
late. Go
Yeah.
do something else.
Mhm.
The other big lift was the T Suns. We saw a huge lift out of T Suns in the week previous, where the double and triple Scarab Cult blocks just carried so much of the day. The scoring
Mhm.
ability is quite high as well. But the other one was Sisters. Now, what are Sisters numbers doing for us here? We've got 4. Yeah, eh.
It's sisters. I think there's still those a few players that are really keen on them, and they should be because they're like there. It was a lift because there were definitely like 1 or 2 before, so it's doubled. It's doubled in
Hmm.
the amount of people that play, and there might be more because again, 50, 80 you people put it on here, you hosers. But
uh,
they have a lot of play in this meta right now too. Now, what do you do? Do you do Bloody Rose now, or do you do Valorous Heart? Like, what do you think they're playing
hmm.
for?
Personally, G-Dub tables would lead me to believe that Bloody Rose is better.
Yeah.
Being able to close the distance, run through walls with things like Repentia,
Mhm.
even like one block of Sacristans, I still don't hate in Bloody Rose. And Zephyrim charging from reserve, dude. Even Paragon freaking Warsuits on G-Dub tables feel okay. Put them in reserve,
Yeah.
bring them on, shoot something dead, charge something dead. And doubling the amount of miracle dice just mean the stuff that comes on from reserve
Mhm.
gets a lot more mileage. But it's stuff like the single castigator they might want to take the and single bits and pieces like that. Like retributors feel a little bit worse on G-Dub tables. Like you got to kind of hold your nerve and not try and use them for a couple of turns so they get to shoot at least once into something worth shooting. So
Mhm.
yeah, there is some ifs and buts there for sure. Let's jump down and talk about some of the top players and lists in attendance.
Tell
I
us about
personally
them.
Also, the lists are locked. So I personally reached out to a couple of locals, couple of people who I know are prominent figures in the scene in that area, in the Washington and Seattle state area.
Mhm.
There's a bit of a phenomena in Washington, in the Pacific Northwest, I think it's called. Um, they run a lot more soup they still like love to run their soup. And these two lists are going to show you why and how you can still make soup work from people who are, I don't say super faction specialists, but they are loyalists to certain things. Because the first guy, Chuck Arnett, plays Orcs, plays Chaos, plays a bunch of stuff. But so yeah, Chuck Arnett's up first. He is playing Chaos Soup. He's got a T-Sun's Cult of Time Patrol and a Death Guard Ferryman Spearhead.
What?
This is, yeah, dude. Yeah, I know.
That's amazing.
I was like, what the crap? Let's talk about this.
Wait. Does he have flesh mowers?
He has 2, yes.
He wins. This is the list.
It's his event.
This is the list.
It's
That's
over.
it.
It's over.
It's over. Move on. It's over.
So yeah, I like this list a lot. He's got Ahriman, 20 Zangors, which I had to actually ask him, Zangors, what the hell? 10 Scarabocol Terminators, because you wouldn't live home without them, especially Cult of Time. 5 spawn and a single spawn. And then the Death Guard side of things is a buffed up, super hard to kill Demon Prince. He's got a single Blight Spawn with the Stench Vats. He's got 2 Flesh Mowers, and he's got 3 PBCs, mate.
Wow.
Like, I scratch my head at so much of this.
I love this list.
Me too.
I love it. I don't know how it would perform, but I love it.
So he actually wrote me a bit of a paragraph because I was scratching my head at what he was doing, especially with the Zangors and the PBCs. Because of course, people are under the impression the PBCs are just not good anymore. The change to indirect fire means that you shoot a Marine in cover. The change in indirect fire plus armor contempt means they just get their armor save versus your Plague Burst Crawler. But Eldar is still a thing. Tau is still a thing. They still function pretty good there. The armor contempt change, the Terminators do not need a 4+ invuln anymore, is of the opinion, which opens up the psychic power for the Weaver or whatever it is to be put in other units. And he was of the opinion the units that get the most buff from the invuln power are Zangors and a big unit of Spawn. And so that's why he's put those 2s in there. So lists can pressure with those and the Terminators at the same time because they can all be packing invulns and extremely hard to kill. Speaking of pressure, the PBCs like to roll up along with the army and actually try and get angles because naturally on GW tables they need to be functioning. So he'll actually walk them up in front of people and try and get them to charge them, try and get them to have to try and shut them down. And one of the reasons he likes them the most is because they offer a bunch of different offensive profiles from the Terminators, from Smites, from Mortal Wounds. They're just completely different profiles than anything that T-Suns can get anywhere. In addition, he's just got the flanking Flesh Mowers, and if he's saying that the Flesh Mowers and the Demon Prince kind of function as a brick and just kind of go and just wreck a flank.
See, and that's the thing that a lot of people I think misinterpret with the PBCs because everyone's saying like, oh, they're dead because the mortars, out of line of sight's dead kind of thing. These are not artillery pieces. They should be running up the board and just pressuring your opponent, being on objectives, being a pain in the butt for your opponent to deal with. These aren't artillery.
It's a saturation effect as well. When you look at the unit, when you look at the rend and the damage that you need to put, the profiles that you want to take to kill Scarabocol Terminators, to kill Chaos Spawn, oh wow, they're the same ones you need to use to kill PBCs and Flesh Mowers. What a coincidence. Let's just saturate, see if you've got enough to handle all of it.
I don't know what to shoot at now, right? And those Zangors have a 4-up invuln probably. So
yes, good list. I'm a fan. The Zangors I think are just too many points. If they were a couple of points less, this would be a lot more palatable.
I hope they're a fan of Zangors, but I hope they perform for him.
Same. I hope they do. I hope they do good things for him. Next list I want to discuss is Peter Vena. He's playing Imperium, so I pulled out another soup list. This is a guard patrol of gunnery experts.
Another Baneblade in here? Is this what's going on?
There's a Baneblade. There's a Baneblade chassis at the end.
Oh, yes. There is. Okay.
It's a guard patrol, gunnery experts, and spotted details, which is the extra range. And all the goodness. Then he's got an Admech Lucius patrol, and then he's got another gunnery expert, spotted details, super heavy auxiliary. He's got 2 demolisher tank commanders, 2 units of 5 scions to give you a bit of engage and give you a bit of rod R&D play. He's got a single astropath with I think it's the psychic barrier +1 save, which of course is going on the Baneblade chassis at the end. This is where it gets real spicy. He's got a Skitarii Marshal, 2 units of 9 Vanguard, 5 infiltrators, once again, bunch of point scoring ability, 10 Rust Stalkers to play the counter assault, 5 melee Castellan robots, and a Shadow Sword. So you've got this layer, you've got Vanguard, and then you've got Castellan robots, and then you've got a Shadow Sword and 2 demolishers. And you just have to go through it to stop any of it.
These soup lists are amazing. I
Mm.
love these lists. Oh my god. These are just so much fun. I wanna play
Mm.
against these, and I
This
wanna try them too. Like, this is great.
It's a stat check.
Yeah.
That list brings a stat check element to that soup. It's toughness 8 on all the Bane Blades and the Lehman Russes, and then you have the are they toughness 6 or toughness 7 like the Stellan robots with an invuln with +1 save against neg 1. Like you can't shoot at them unless you're a multi melter like a las cannon. Um,
Yeah.
it's cool, and then it's still got 10 Rust Stalkers in there to go and play the defense. Oh, you be too aggressive here, bang! I'll go punch you, bloody your nose a little bit, and then it's got all these objective players. I think it's a really well crafted list. I'm a fan. The Shadow Sword is just awkward. Like I wish it was a couple of payload manticores. If I had to change it, Shadow Sword
Yeah,
would go be 2
okay.
payload manticores, and then I don't know. You'd have a bunch of points left.
I could be down with the Shadow Surge because of some of the things you might come up against there. If you fight against, like, knights, that will help you deal with them. What are the tank commanders equipped with? Are they
The
demolishers?
demolishers, yeah. He's got
Oh,
the
geez, okay.
yeah. So he's got the 30-inch
Unnecessary then,
demolishers.
but I still like it. So,
Yeah,
it's still fine. I mean, right now I'm looking at Imperial Soup and Chaos Soup lists, and I'm looking at this tournament, like, it's this is delicious. I love
this
this.
is really good. That's really good. Um, in chat, Rain, thou shalt not besmirch the casual Baneblade. Great call. Thank you to everybody else who's joined us in chat. Matthew Nurgle, KR Quinn, Scotty49. Love you guys. Thanks so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Uh,
Thanks for joining us in the chat there, guys. For those of you listening to us after the fact, thanks for tuning in as well. Remember, we do this live every Thursday as well.
So the third top player in attendance is Alex Mcdougall that I wanted to pull out and discuss because I knew he'd be bringing Tyrion in. Of course he is.
Of
That is what
course.
he does. One of the best Tyrion players in the world, just coming over the border from Canada down to lovely Seattle. He's got an interesting list, man. I'm going to get you to unpack most of it for me, but
Of
he's
course.
playing a Leviathan battalion and patrol. He's got 4 Tyrant Guard, 3 Zoanthropes in the no 4 Sorg slots, which means he has a Neurothrope and a Flyrant, of course. 10 Gargoyles, 2 units of 5 Warriors make up the obligatory troops, a single Maliceptor, 3 Venom Thropes, the Parasite of Mortrex, 5 Raveners, 4 Raveners, and a single Biovore. And then a patrol is another Hive Tyrant. This one is Walking, and
Mhm.
5 Warriors. Tell us the story here, mate.
Okay, so right now, and again, didn't list any of the equipment on here, and I don't need it because I know exactly what
Don't
this is
need it,
going to
man.
be. I
Yeah.
don't need it. The only thing I'm not sure of is the Walking Hive turn going to have 2 Venom cannons, or you're just going to have one with close combat, or with the Relic Venom cannon. Could be either or, and either one of those is fine because you have that one with the 4 Tyrant Guard and the Flying Hive Tyrant, probably with the Reaper of Obliterax because that's what he's there for, to just do all the damage in close combat and
All the raping.
all the reaping. And those 3 things, that's to the last. Good luck dealing with that. Well, everything else does whatever it wants. So the
Yes.
Malice is there to do all the mortal wounds. The Venom Thropes can give -1 to hit. They can tie some things up in combat, give fight last if you really need to do that. Parasite of Mortrex probably has the extra Warlord trait for Alien Cunning to give him count as 5 OBSEC models. So he can steal objectives. He can do mortal wounds. He can spawn Rippers and cause issues. He's an amazing 80 points. Raveners are absolutely devastating for their points.
Jacked. They
Like,
are
absolutely
jacked
jacked.
up.
I'm
Yeah.
sure the Walking Hive Tyrant probably has the direct guidance as well, so he can give +1 to hit and reroll ones to the Raveners, any of the Warriors units. So they're going to be hitting on 2s with everything, rerolling ones. So they're going to be super efficient.
Mhm.
And obviously the 3x5 Warriors and Leviathan, they all have permanent transhuman, including
Yep.
all of the monsters all have permanent transhuman. The Zoanthropes are in there to give a nice 4-up invuln to all the Warriors and Raveners
Yep.
for a turn when they
Yep.
want to go aggressive. Like, what more is there to say? Like, this list is
Mm.
beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Nerthrop's there to give the Maliceptor casting on 3d6. Like, it has everything he could ever need. The Gargoyles are there just for grabbing objectives, doing some actions, being annoying on an objective to spawn back onto it with D3+3 respawning. Like, I had to, I don't know. I
It
talked
goes
too
on.
fast
It
there,
goes
but
on. Yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
goes on. The amount of things you can do with this.
And the flexibility side of things where you get to choose the different like essentially second part of your trait for Leviathan. I know there's a lot of death speeders. I think there's a heavy weapon or 2 in each of the 5-man warrior squads as well. Like he could very well choose to ignore the penalties for advancing and firing assault weapons or moving and firing heavy weapons, and then function is like +1 to hit on most of his stuff.
Yeah.
He also has a bunch of other options in no, it's not the lurk one, it's the other 2 he gets, yeah?
The Lurk is the one he doesn't get. Yeah, that's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's the other 2, but you almost don't even need it if he has with the big weapons he has in here. A free reroll.
It's
That's not
nice.
bad
Yeah,
either.
yeah.
That's not bad. Like,
Exactly right. Um, So yeah, what do you think's going to take the day here? We know there's a couple more Tyranids than have listed. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't know if a Tower player makes the podium because I know how thick the terrain's going to be.
Yeah, that would actually be a little rough for them with this kind of terrain here. It's easy for me.
Tyranids winning.
Oh, Alex is my man. Like I was at Canhammer with him. He pulled me out of my finals game to walk me over to the garbage. Like so excited to throw out the old decks, the garbage, because he was ready to play this new stuff. He was so ready for it. He's ready to go.
All right, yeah, I'd happily go with Alex Mcdougall to win this. Yeah, I think it is. Well, I know John Lennon's in attendance as well, and he's playing his Nids also. And you got to assume they're going to be a similar list. These guys have been. There is 100% there is a Tyranid think tank Facebook group out there somewhere where all these dudes just cook up all this crazy stuff. So yeah, he's in attendance. A bunch of other top players as well. Was pointed out. There's a couple of top players here whose list we did not discuss. I actually made once I heard that Chuck and a couple of other guys were coming and what they were bringing. These really bespoke, very unique soup lists. I wanted to put the magnifying glass on that, guys. One of the amazing abilities we have on this show is to show you the uniqueness about certain regions and certain communities. And one of the spicy, awesome things about the Pacific Northwest is their willingness to play outside the scope of the conventional straight up and down, where you play one faction, only one faction stuff. And when we have those unique abilities to put a spotlight on, like, these guys play soup lists. They play more soup lists. Their top players playing soup lists. This is crazy. I want to show that to you guys, and I want to point it out and champion it. So yeah, hopefully you guys got a bit out of that as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. I love those lists. I'm really glad you pointed those ones out there. And also, Peachy, I'm glad you pointed that out because Adam missed the mark on that one for sure. Called it a think tank. It's a hive mind. The hive mind of come on. Come on.
Yeah, I
mean, go to the next tournament. Go to the next.
Just because your head's real big, like. Anyway.
Well, it is. Got all the information. The hive mind here.
All right, take it away, mate.
All right, so we got the next one up is the Brighton Warhammer 40k tournament from Brighton, England. 34-player 5-rounder, yeah. But 100% faction listed. They did the right thing. Hashtag thank you, boys and girls. That is incredible. Makes our job a lot easier. So we can have a lot more accurate stats here. So I'll go do that right now. Quick and dirty stats for this one are Imperial Super Faction. There's 1 Sisters, 2 Custodes, 1 Admech, 2 Astra Militarum, 2 Grey Knights. Nice spread there. Then we have 1 Dark Angel, 2 Space Wolves, 1 Blood Angel, 1 Black Templar, 1 Raven Guard, 1 Iron Hands. Raven Guard's a new one in there, but it's still decent spread. I like that. Chaos Super Faction, 2 Chaos Space Marines, 2 Sea Suns, 1 Death Guard. Xeno Super Faction, 1 Necron, 1 Orcs, 2 Tau, or 6 Tau. Sorry, 6 Tau. There's the spike. And then Hive Mind Super Faction, 4 Tyranids. Yep. They're the 2 right there. The Eldar Super Faction, a single Drukhari and a single Asuriani.
Really surprising. That last one is really surprising.
That actually is.
Yeah, you can expect to see, even at an event this side, you can expect to see double, even triple that, like 3 in each of those, or 1 or 2 Drukhari, 4 or 5 Asurani, 0 Harlequins, 0 Eldari, both big surprises. In addition, 0 Knights at this event, no Renegade or Imperial Knights, even though they're about to get their new codexes, and we usually see a little bit of a rise just before then. And yeah, it was
that means that the faction podium is just Tau and Tyranids. So Tau at 6, Tyranids at 4, and everybody else is 2 and 1. So
that's it.
I mean, it's a good spread. It's as good as a spread you can expect, I think.
Except just 2 minutes, like 1 or 2 less Tau, it'd be a beautiful world.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
For 34 players, 6 Tau, like you might have to play them twice if you win that event. That feels rough.
Yeah, but I guess we have to take it as you're gonna be ready to play Tau.
It's still beautiful. Top players in attendance here. David Gaylard made the top 8 of the LVO last year, also this year. And I wanted to jump at his list because he's a bit of a Nid player, and I wanted to get another bead on what a different player was doing with the same faction as, on the other side of the world. So he's playing a single Leviathan battalion. He's got a Neurothrope and a Flyrant, 2 units of 9 and 2 units of 3 warriors, so taking more warriors than he needs to, and 2 big bricks as well. He's got 2 Maleceptors, 3 Venomthropes, a unit of 3 Zoanthropes, only 3 Raveners, and 2 Harpies. And I wanted to get your take on this one because he's seems to be a more defensive build, as in he's going to hide behind the big units of warriors, pump out smites, and shoot Harpies while strafing along the backboard.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen a couple of the lists with the big warrior bricks, and thank God it's Leviathan, because if it wasn't Leviathan, I need to slap you upside the head if you're bringing that.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. Like you need the permanent transhuman for that.
Yeah, you do.
That'd be valuable. Now, two big bricks. I don't know. I could see it have play. I don't know what putting that much into it. It's a very defensive list, like you were saying, but the harpies give you some kind of aggressiveness as you need them. You could take engage easily, then just spend a CP to save it after it drops some mortal wounds and shoots, and still get your engage. Like it's a safe list. So if I feel like against some of the more defensive lists, it might have a little more trouble cracking them. But the hyper aggressive ones, like if he fights a lot of blood angels or anything like that, he'll have a lot easier time into, because he has a lot more of a defensive posture that'll work really well for him.
So when I looked at this one, the change that I would have thought could be logical is three warriors get dropped, and then you add two or three Raveners and make that a legitimate melee unit rather than a pinch hitting melee unit.
Yeah, the 3 Raveners is a little weird. It feels like 2 Raveners short.
Apart from that, this looks like a list that's built to go into grindy matchups versus like T-Sun's Death Guard and like the other big brick like Terminator lists, because it wants to sit on a stable frontage of warriors and then just dunk smites and smites and smites and smites until you go away. And legitimately, it can do that extremely well.
Yep, I would agree with that for sure. It definitely has a lot of play. It plays differently than some of the other ones, which is weird to say, because if you look at it in like compared to Alex lists, they're not that different overall.
No, they're not at all. Nah.
It's just more into the warriors, a little less than the Raveners, and added some harpies.
And second Maleceptor, which I think just means you're doing that double down on the mortals, which means you're a bit more of a grindy. Although I say grindy, Maleceptors burst mortals. They don't grind mortals. They burst.
So the harpies. Harpies can actually do some damage too. Like people underestimate how much damage a harpy does.
Yeah, in chat, Rain has asked, how good is a second harpy that doesn't get synapse trans bugman? I'm assuming that makes sense to you.
Well, yeah. So because you can make, because they're Leviathan, you can spend the upgrade to make one of them synapse, so he always has transhuman, and then give the other one a 4-up invul normally. That's what you would normally do. I don't see here. I'm assuming that's what you do, because then they both have durability still. So that's annoying,
that's
right?
Big deal. Yeah, CC says Rain.
There we go. I got
next,
you, Rain. I got you.
And legitimately, David is pretty much my pick to win this one. Although this is the other one I think could win. This is Conrad Barkowitz, and I got to say, I think this might be my favorite Eldari list.
Wow.
This is a Harlequin's Dark Patrol and an Asuryani Hail of Doom Masters of Shop sets. The super shuriken ignores cover. It's an outrider of that one. It's got a Troop Master, essentially three Dark Boats, 3-5 troop that have weapons in Starweavers. Then he's got Baharoth, Farseer Skyrunner, 2-10 Dire Avengers, 3 Shining Spears, 10 Swooping Hawks, 9 Wind Riders, and 2 Wave Serpents. And this feels like it just has it all. It just has it all.
Wait, so there is an Eldari then?
Yeah, have I not listed it as being an Eldari? So, no, he's listed himself as Asuryani, because I still think there's some confusion about whether, if you take the patrol of Harlequins, are you Asuryani or not? I called him Eldari, because when I was writing it down, I'm like, well, this has more than one faction in it.
It is technically the same book, so no, I'm down with this. Like, I guess Eldari is technically like mixing with Drukhari. That's weird. So it's going to take me to get used to, but okay.
Yeah, it's weird. So so for the aggressive side of things, 3 Harlequin troops with good weapons, plus 3 Shining Spears, being supported by a Troop Master and Baharoth, is a great amount of disruption and annoyance, and can reach out and be everywhere. And it's got if this list had, I'm not sure if I prefer 5 Banshees with the Super Exarch over the 3 Shining Spears, but not by much. And then for the defensive side of things, or the stable side of things, you've got 20 Dire Avengers, 10 Swooping Hawks, and 9 Wind Riders to just be Daka monsters. And the 2 Dire Avengers being hidden in Wave Serpents. It's fast, it's dynamic, it's well fleshed out, and it's got just every profile you could need.
So I love the idea here. I would make some similar changes. I'm not a fan of the Shining Spears or the Wave Serpents, to be honest. I think because with 3x5 troops and 3 Star Weavers, like that's you don't need Wave Serpents in that. Then you can put those points into so many other things that I feel like I would put in some Banshees in there for sure. I like the Banshees, and just one squad with the Mirror Sword and plus 1 damage is just but like it's not bad. And I know the 2 Wave Serpents, they're going to carry Dire Avengers, so it means it
Yeah.
keeps them safer and they can be a more aggressive Dire Avengers squad. So I know why they're in there. I get that. So I like I said, I love the list. I love the idea
Mm.
between the dichotomy between the Dark Harlequins and the Hail of Doom Sirianni is
It's a beautiful balance, man.
it's a
It's
beautiful
good.
balance. Light and it's
And
yin and yang, buddy. Yin and yang.
dude, I want to know someone tell me the math. 5 Harlequin troops with a bunch of different weapons. In Dark, how many armor contempt models can they kill? Will they get the extra Ren?
All of
They
them.
will 5 kill 5? Will 5
Well, they
Harlequins
go to
kill
AP
5?
3. They go to AP 3, and they'll
Yep.
be strength 5, right? So
Yeah.
then 4 attacks each,
Yep. Hitting on 3s
hitting on
still.
3s.
I always thought they should hit on 2s. Harlequins should hit on 2s.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
dark hit on 2s. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Are
they're
they? I don't know.
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're hitting on 2s.
I don't know.
I might be wrong.
My
But
brain is a sieve.
yeah, it depends. Like they pick up a 5-man easy peasy.
I think as soon as they drop any one of their strats, on the weapon strats, they will probably pick up a 5-man.
Oh, easily,
Yeah.
easily. Yeah.
So yeah, I really like Conrad's list. I'm going to pick him over David to win now that I've remembered his list is so cool.
That's
But
cool.
David and Gaylard I'm picking
Okay.
one of them. The last list I want to talk about here is a resurgent Necron list archetype we have not seen in a while, hence I wanted to talk about it. It is Adam J.E. Smith. I put the J.E. in there because it's cool. Because his name's Adam Smith without the J.E. Yeah, the J.E. makes him distinctive. Apart from
Yep.
vanilla man.
Now
I'm sorry.
you've been distinguished between all the other Adam Smiths in the world.
Exactly. The
Perfect.
JE is the spicy sauce. He's playing a Circumstances of Awakening Expansionist Necrons, so that's the 6-inch scout move, and everything is obsec or double obsec. He's got 2 patrols and an auxiliary detachment, so not starting with many CP. He's got an Overlord, 2 into 5 Immortals, and then 20 Warriors. Then he's got a Nightbringer and 6 Flayed Ones making up that detachment. Next up, he has a Technomancer, 3 units of 5 Immortals. So that is 25 Immortals in 5 mans, and then 20 Warriors as well. And he's got the Void Dragon and another 6 Flayed Ones. And then he has a Transcendent Catan in an auxiliary. So the triple Catan build is what this gentleman is trialing here.
So JE stands for just enough Satans. That's what
Just I love that. That's great.
The 6 Slade ones they're there for Rod, obviously. They're great for
Yeah.
that. This is old school, maybe not that old school, but pretty old school Satan build.
Hmm.
The 20 warrior bricks, and it's weird to see it more into the warriors instead of the scarabs, because the scarabs are usually a little more, they're cheaper and you can bring more of them, kind of thing, more wounds on the
Yeah.
table. But I don't hate that. Like, it's actually, they're not easy to take down. Like, they do a lot
No.
of damage and they do
Yeah.
not die.
I actually kind of like this list at the moment. I think Necrons have a lot of struggles trying to build an all-comers style list
Yeah.
into the current meta. I feel like they need to start skewing again. Unfortunately, it feels like they just got their their points reductions, which let them play in all-comers again. And now I'm saying, sorry, it's back to the skew drawing board, because Armor Contempt means your offense just isn't there. Like, it just isn't there. It's a bit sad. I do love what this is doing. I once again, yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. The Warriors over Scarabs is a bit of a head scratcher, but double obsec Warriors is just double obsec Warriors. They can just with the scout move, you can just flood objectives, and your opponent gets no banners, no primary for a turn. It's yeah. I like that aspect to it. It's quite heavy MSU, so it's got 5 units of Immortals, 2 units of Flayed Ones. That's 7 small units of dudes just go out and get you objectives, get you rods and engages and stuff.
Yeah, which I like actually the way that's built, because normally you'll see a lot more like bigger scarab squads and bigger warrior squads that are kind of surrounding the Satans, but they can't be blocked anyway. So I feel like an MSU build with them makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, I actually quite like this build into this build feels like it's built to go into Armor Contempt armies. Things
Yeah.
like T-Sons, Marines, Sisters, even Grey Knights. It's got enough mortal wounds to do the damage you're now missing by not having any decent rend into them.
Yeah,
At the same time, though, the best armies in the game have never had more ability to kill a Catan in one turn. Like,
yeah, the other thing I'm
wow.
worried about too is that leading this heavily into mortal wounds with Tyranids now coming in with all the mortal wounds that people are going to be ready for.
Yeah.
It might not be the right time for triple set. I don't. The window is
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. It's iffy. It's ballsy. I'll give him that. But it could
Yeah,
work.
Rain just
People
said
learn.
3 Catan sounds like something an old school player would try and roll in the current era.
Hey,
That's exactly
yeah,
right. Exactly right.
absolutely. Yep.
When shit's hitting the fan for your faction, you go back to the drawing board, see the stuff
Yep.
that brought you success in the past, see fresh coat of paint, see if it works.
Yep.
I think like if you go first, the Catan could just do a lot of models, like 3 sky falling stars on 3 different units. You can just be like, each Catan does 6 models a turn, give or take. You can do a lot of work.
You can for
I
sure.
just wish they were a little bit better in combat. Like they need, like Nightbringer withstanding the void dragon and the transcendent Catan. I wish they had like just one more attack on their data sheet, because they they try and go into something that has like 3. Like does a void dragon kill 3 blade guard? I don't think they do in combat.
No,
Like,
he's more there. He kills vehicles. He's the
yeah, but I
vehicle
mean
killer.
they should all have that like just innate ability to
Yeah.
scoop 5 basic anything to Marines. That should be like it's a freaking Catan. Why can't it kill 5 intercessors?
Well, I mean, it could kill some blade guard because it can ignore invulns, right? So I mean, it can.
Yeah, it's true.
But I
Then
mean, it
they
can
just
also flub his damage rolls completely.
they're just transhuman, and you got like what 5 attacks, and then cool, 1 missed on the 2s to hit, 2 wounded. Cool, there's 3 of them there. Well, guess they're not dying. Is more to the point. And if
But
you don't
then he's
ignore
not going to
invulns,
die.
4+. Yeah, well, he's not going to die. It's true. But yeah, I love this list. I hope it does very well. But Eldar and Tyranids do not care about Catan. Like they're like instant dead. Like this isn't even hard for me. Instant dead. Like
The Reaper Tyrant can kill one in a turn. Like just him by himself, he can completely kill one.
So at the same time, like the Nightbringer just pops that dude. Just like,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Dead.
If you don't kill him, you die in return. So
it's Well, I wish very good things upon this gentleman. The last event. Tell us a story, mate.
All right, this is the Glasshammer GT8. So this is the 8th GT of Glasshammer. I'm going to assume that's what that means. That 8's there for. Unless it's just a snowman, and Adam drew me a picture on the list here from Telford, England. So 41 player 5-rounder. It is okay. All right, 5-rounder. I like all these big 5-rounders that we get. There's one 8-rounder and a couple 5-rounders.
Yeah,
and you didn't. Did everybody have their listen? Did they have?
No, but I don't remember how many didn't.
All right. We don't know if we can shame people.
I will shame them for a different reason because the list is still locked.
So we don't know. Did you get any?
No, I didn't get any. There's a couple of the top 10 in the UK in attendance. Vic Vijay playing Asurani, don't know what he's taken, and Jamie Belcombe playing Custodes, don't know what he's taken. So
I mean, we could probably guess both of those lists for the
little shame. I'm not going to do a full shame, but little half shame.
Like this is more of a come on.
Well, I don't know the context. It could be a casual event where you just rock up with your list on the day and don't have to submit it. So that could be a thing. So yeah, I don't want to give full shame, but yeah, tell us about the meta of the event.
All right, so the Imperial Super Faction, there's 1 Sisters, 3 Custodes, 1 Grey Knight, and 2 Imperial Knights. Space Marine Super Faction, there's 1 Astarte, 1 Ultramarine, 1 Salamander, 1 Black Templar, 1 White Scar, and 1 Imperial Fist. I love how Space Marines are so spread now. This is amazing. Chaos Super Faction, there are 2 T-Suns, 1 Death Guard, 2 Demons, and 1 Renegade Knight. Xenos Super Faction, there's just 3 Tau. That's sad. The Hive Mind Super Faction, 6 Tyranids, and 1 GSC. And then the Eldari Super Faction, there is 1 Eldari, 2 Drukhari, 3 Harlequins, and 2 Assyriani. That's what I expect to see. More just a good spread with them. So the faction podium then becomes Tyranids at 6, then Tau, Custodes, and Harlequins all tied at 3, and then lots of 2s and 1s. Because it's
so the NIDs are ruining for everybody, because if there was like 2 less NIDs, this would be a perfect spread.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, that is that's actually a really good spread. There's always one. There's always one faction that's ruining for everybody. It was Tau in the last one. It's Tyranids in this one. We are so close to this perfect balance in these tournaments. So close.
Just ruin it, guys. You just ruin it.
Look in the mirror. Maybe if the lists weren't locked, you would know, and you wouldn't have brought that many Tyranids. Maybe it's too.
But if you do play these factions, I want you to get up in the morning, get your cup of tea, go up to the mirror, look in the mirror, and ask yourself, "Am I the problem?" Just
the answer is yes.
All right. Unfortunately, we don't have the list to discuss. We just had another question in the chat. Great. Now I want to see the Imperial Fist list. That was going to be the third list I did. If there's one Imperial Fist list, I will do 2 serious like meta lists, and I'll chuck in the Imperial Fist. Like I'll chuck in the Baneblade list. just because it's freaking awesome and we want to show off the champions.
Yeah,
that we
I
have.
see that. I like that.
Yeah, it's good. Anything jumping out to you about this meta? One thing that jumped out to me was there's no Dark Angels.
There are no Dark Angels. Well, of course it jumped out to you. You're a Dark Angels player.
It's true, but usually they're the most numerous or second most numerous Dark. Like that's pretty much almost been unanimous around the entire edition so far. They were first or second for the most numerous Space Marine faction. Now there's 0.
Yeah. No, there aren't too many of them. Not surprised. Like, there's no AdMech, but I'm not like super shocked in a 41 player event. That's not a real shocker. There's no Tau, or not Tau, no Necrons and no Orcs.
Yes, that was another one.
That's a little bit more shocking, but again, 41 players, maybe they just don't have any. I feel like 2 of those or 3 of those tier players, one should have played Dark Angels, one should have gone Orcs, another one should have gone Necrons. Then this would have been the perfect event.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
absolutely right.
There's more Knights than Orcs and Necrons combined. It's a little sad.
I'm gonna give this one to the T-Suns, by the way. I mean, the Tyranids are probably going to get like 1st, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But that's 2nd place. One of you T-Suns players, go get it for me. Do it.
You know what? We talked about this in the last week's episode too. Because I was saying the 2 armies that I think can deal with the Tyranids on a regular basis are T-Suns and Eldar. Not want to toot my own horn, but guess who was beating most of the Tyranid lists out there? Just saying.
Yeah,
so
true.
I would definitely go with you on the T-Suns because you already went on them though. I will go with the Suriani.
Nice.
Because there's so many Tyranids, I'm going with the ones that I know can beat Tyranids and still hold the candle to the rest of them too. I know those Suriani can for sure.
Easy done. So that's it for the event coverage. I'll try and do my best, Paul Murphy. All right, everybody. So at the end of the show, we have a segment called the Fuego Rapido. It is how we wrap up this show. A bit of a palate cleanser from all the denseness. And now I will drop it because it was horrific. So we're going to do the Fuego. It's Sleepless in Seattle, Paul Murphy style. So what's going to keep Paul Murphy sleepless in Seattle is the questions, apparently. I don't know what the questions are. Val wrote them like 20 minutes before the show. I think he's going to come on and ask them to us as well, because that's usually what we do.
Yeah, because I can't see them either. So I don't know what they are. You have to ask us.
I believe I should be live to air now. Don't be alarmed, chat. It's just me, Val Heffelfinger. All right. Also, don't have a timer. And Dustin, for some reason, your green screen went a little haywire there. And when you laugh, laugh now, you're transparent, and there's fire behind you, and it's scary.
Fire!
And we're scaring our audience. That's cool.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, so let's get going. First question here. Of course, we're in Seattle, home of Starbucks. Dark roast or light roast? Go, guys.
Dark. Yeah.
I think I would go with dark too. There's Go ahead.
I don't drink many coffees. I'm more of a tea man, and when I do drink coffee, I want it to taste like coffee, like slap me in the face with coffee.
So you like to eat the beans right out of the bag.
Yeah, just
you don't need a grinder. You grind them in your mouth, spit them back into the coffee machine, and then pour the water into that.
Yeah, I'm a little bean goblin.
That's macho coffee. That's what that is. Yeah. That's the macho coffee. I like that.
All right.
I'm a dark roast fan too.
Okay. All right. You're both wrong. Definitely light roast.
Wow.
higher caffeine content. Moving on. Okay. So, whoa. Things that are keeping up our friend Paul Murphy. Cell phone always on mute or custom ringtone?
Which one will keep him up more?
I know it's on mute while he's working. I know he forgets to turn it off mute between events and stuff. But custom ringtone, that is like a Taylor Swift song is my prediction.
I think that's what needs to happen, because if he's used to having it on silent, somebody needs to just pick it off silent and make sure there's a Taylor Swift ringtone whenever it rings or any kind of text comes through, and then just start texting him throughout the broadcast.
Either that or some lame emo song from his youth that brings him reminiscence of like Mephiston and Dante at all times, like My Chemical Romance Trash or something. I don't know. And
that picture on screen right now of him kissing that puppy, that's the picture that needs to pop up whenever somebody's calling him.
He's not going to watch this back anyway. I can
exactly. You have no idea what we're talking about.
He's too busy. He's too busy doing awesome stuff.
Doesn't have time to do this.
Okay, so of course, Paul Murphy probably currently, as our ticker was reporting, asleep on top of the covers in his boxer shorts. Right now, is he dreaming of a sober Nick Nanavati or a drunk Nick Nanavati? Which one of those? What will disrupt Paul Murphy's slumber?
See, that one I think is a little more easy. I think a sober Nanavati is going to keep him awake more because he's going to worry about what's wrong.
He knows how to handle drunk Nick Nanavati.
Yeah,
he's been there.
Exactly.
Been in front of the coalface. You know?
He's dealt with that, so that's fine.
Yeah.
It's when he's sober that he looks at him like, what's going?
That's better the devil you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there is a rubric I'll be marking at the end of this, but I think you guys nailed that one. All right. In honor of the very dated reference, probably about as dated as a G.I. Jane reference, best Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, okay, this is good.
Do you like Tom Hanks, Adam?
I kind of do. Like, I kind of think he's no De Niro, but he's pretty good as
got a
vanilla
little window
every
into Adam's psyche there. Okay.
Yeah, the vanilla everyman like white guy actor. The Burbs is my favorite Tom Hanks movie.
That's a deep cut. Deep cut. Everyone's Googling right now.
What?
Yeah.
Anyone in chat, seriously, raise your hand if you know The Burbs. And I'm not talking to the...
It's an awesome freaking movie. Memes galore. Me and my brothers like just throw Burbs references at each other's all the time.
Okay.
So is this best Tom Hanks movie or best movie that Tom Hanks is in?
Wow. I mean, you can take that however you want it.
Yeah.
Clock's ticking. With it, baby. Clock's ticking.
All right. Saving Private Ryan.
Okay. I call that a Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah. I was going to say,
I think that's safe either way.
I mean, like Forrest Gump's legitimately a great film, but I'm not sure if that's him or the film being great.
We all know that we could never forgive Forrest Gump for beating Pulp Fiction for Best Picture. So we're going to move on to...
That's true, actually. Holy crap.
I forgot about that.
Holy crap, I forgot. Yeah,
that's
something I forgot as well.
Now I'm sad. Sad. Way to go, Mel.
Okay. I ruined everything. All right, here we go. Finally, what's keeping Paul Murphy sleepless in Seattle? Tau or Tyranids?
So he's Blood Angels obsessed. So which one of them would give him more nightmares?
It used to be Tau, but I think now it's Tyranids. Just because of a lot of the changes, but
at this event on this terrain, 100% Tyranids.
Mm-hmm.
I think he'd go okay into Tau on GW.
There's also gonna be a lot of Venom throws. So there's a lot of tentacle monsters out there. I think that's terrifying to some people.
Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah,
it's not okay.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, I can picture Paul joking
devastation about ball exactly.
Yeah, dropping an elbow and breaking some Tau backs.
Oops.
But not so much a Tyranids. I'm just like, ugh.
He's gonna walk by a table at one point, and there's gonna be a Venom throw up that just grabs his clothes, and he's gonna freak him out. Like
he's gonna start saying too soon. Get under the table. Too soon.
All right, guys, that concludes our Fuego Rapido.
And that concludes our show.
That's it. Perfect. All right. Well, thanks you for joining us here live. For those of you who are in the chat, and for those of you listening to us after the fact, thanks for tuning in. We hope you did enjoy this. Don't forget to leave that like and subscribe. Give us a 5-star review because we're awesome, and so are you. We want to make sure we're telling each other we're awesome, right?
Thank you very much to the very active chat. You guys are amazing. Mm-hmm. You guys were the third host. Most time, you guys are the fourth host. You carry the show a lot, and we couldn't do it without you. So much love, and thank you very much, guys. On that note, we'll see you next week. Enjoy all the coverage from the Seattle Open.
Yes, don't forget to check that out.
Is it BAO in 2 weeks or 3 weeks? 3 weeks. BAO. You might see my face on that in some way, some form. See you there. Can't wait, guys.
Going to be exciting. We'll see you next week.
Good night.